Hello everybody, welcome back to Productive Drawings. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw an object in orthographic projection, first angle projection to be precise. So one thing I'd like you to note about the first angle projection, unlike the third angle projection, if you have your frontal elevation on the left hand side, as you can see for this diagram here, I'll actually draw it on the right hand side of this Cartesian plane. But also do note that for the first angle projection, the plan is usually at the bottom, depending on the position of your front. So for this case, since our front elevation is on the left hand side, our plan is going to be on our right hand side of the Cartesian plane, that is the third quadrant, and the front elevation will be in the second quadrant here. Okay, now let's start. We can shade what you're going to see in the front elevation. Actually going to see this point, this face here. We're also going to see this face here, that face. So let's draw the shape you are going to see. So for this dimension, the dimension from this point to this point, you're actually going to get it from here to here, and that is going to be 70 millimeters. So do note that we are going to draw our front elevation at the second quadrant. So we'll draw a line 70 millimeters long. Then for your height, you are going to have this one here. That is going to be 60 millimeters long. So from this point, draw a 60 millimeter line. Like that. Then just join this to this. And draw something like a rectangle, that. Then I want to draw this part here. So that means that from the bottom to this point is going to be 20 millimeters. So from this point here, we are going to measure 20 millimeters, make an arc, and then draw a line. Like this, 20 millimeters, then draw a line. You can use faint pencil. But I'm just going to erase them apart. Sorry. Then we also want this edge here. That means that from this point here to this point is 15. So from this point you'll measure 15 millimeters going upwards. Then draw your line, straight vertical line. That. So we are drawing a line at 15 millimeters. Like that. The other thing we're also going to see is this one here, this edge here, this top edge here. So the dimension from the bottom is 30 millimeters. So that means that from this point, you'll measure 30 millimeters, then draw a line. Or alternatively, you can measure 15 millimeters from here and make a mark, then draw a line. This like this, 30 millimeters. Okay, now the next thing is to put this face, and this face. So from this point to this point is 20 millimeters. So that means that from this point we are going to measure 20 millimeters and draw a straight vertical line. 20 millimeters like that. Then from this point to this point is actually 30 millimeters. That means that from this point we'll measure 30 millimeters going this side and then draw a line, straight vertical line, like this, 30 millimeters. So we can erase the parts that we are not going to see. We have something like a hole at that point, so we're not going to see that. Then there's no line cutting in this plane here, so we're not going to see that. We are going to erase that, all of that. The other thing is at this point there's no other line, so we are going to erase this, then erase this. The other thing is there's no line cutting this one like this, so I'm actually going to erase this. and this is what you're going to have your front elevation looking like. So what you can basically do from this point is to extend these lines downwards, project them down, because we want to draw our plan for the diagram. That we just extend them further down. Then what are we going to do now from here? So let me first shade what you're going to see on the plan. Shading color, sorry. Let me go for lighter green color. So we are going to see this top edge here. It's not that visible. Let me just change it, something like that. So we're going to see that this one here, this one here. That is what we're going to see for the plan. So we shall draw it like this. So from this point, you're just going to draw a line 70 millimeters long. Then for the height, you are going to take the dimension for this one here. That is going to be 25 plus 15, that is 40, plus 50, that is 90 millimeters. So from this point, draw a line 90 millimeters long going downwards. And then from this point, just draw another 170 millimeters long and join them. That we want to draw this point here, this one here. So measure 15 millimeters, that is this 15 here. So from the top, measure 15 millimeters going down. Sorry, not 165, 15 millimeters. That. Then we are also going to see this one here. So that is where this one cuts. That. Then we want to draw this one here. So from this point, you'll measure 25 millimeters. That is from this point. Then draw the line going downwards, sorry. So from this point, measure 25 millimeters going downwards, then draw a straight horizontal line. Millimeters like that. Then you can trim this part because you're not going to see that one there like that. Then extend this one like that. Then also extend this one like that. We are going to see that. You also need this other edge here. So the distance from this point to this point is actually 20 millimeters. That means that from this point, you are going to measure 20 millimeters going downwards and draw a line, a straight horizontal line. So we'll measure 20 millimeters like that, then draw a line. Then we need these lines, this one here. So that is what we are going to draw. Now I have our plan and front elevation. The only thing left to do is to draw our end elevation. So normally what most people tend to do is to extend this one here like this. A lighter pencil, light colored pencil, sorry. So you'll extend this one to this point, this to this point, this to this point, then this to this point here. Then what can you do? Draw a line at 45 degrees, that from each point. Like that. Also like this. sure you project your lines upwards at each point where they meet the center line. That, then like this. Then for this case, we're also going to extend these lines this other side, extend this on this other side, also extend this other side. Then we also need to extend this onto this other side. Now we can start drawing our end elevation. Let me first shade what you're going to see. Gray color. So this is what you're going to see for the end elevation. So for the end elevation, that is what you're going to have to see. So let's draw this shape. So from this point, we're going to see this one like this, 60 millimeters, then 90. Then we're going to go upwards from this point, this, then to that point, then to this point here. Like that. We need this slanting edge here, so it's going to project from this point to this point like that. We need this other one here, so that is going to be at this point. From this point, so 15 millimeters like that. So the other thing we're going to see, though it's going to be a bit hidden, it's going to be this line here. So we are just going to draw it using a broken line, this, that is from that point. That is what you're going to see for your end elevation. Please do note that this is your end elevation and this is your front elevation. Then this one that is on the third quadrant here, that is your plan for this object.